The views expressed on the following program do not necessarily reflect the views of Money Radio staff, management, or advertisers, and do not represent an offer to buy or sell any securities. Some interviews heard on this program may be sponsored by the participants. It's time for Health Futures with Cypress HomeCare Solutions, Bob Roth. This is Arizona's only show dedicated to providing you with expert advice on how to live a longer, healthier, and happier life. To learn more, call 602-264-8009. That's 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Bob Roth.
Good afternoon. You're listening to Health Futures, and I'm your host, Bob Roth. And if you're just tuning in, Health Futures is a show about how our older adult population can live a healthier, happier life. We've been on the air now for going on 3.5 years, have brought maybe 130 episodes of our show to you. And the secret to our show is really bringing experts and guests that can really talk about the issues or the challenges that our older adult population is experiencing and really coming up with solutions. I'm your host, and we, meaning my family and I, own a home care agency, and what we do is we enable our older adult population to be able to live that healthier, happier life, and really successfully do that by aging in place. Aging in place is something that 9 out of 10 people want to do, but not everybody can do. And we do that by supplying incredible caregivers, and caregivers are really the secret to success. And you know, it's hard to believe it's September 2nd, and we're in the month of September, and we're getting ready to celebrate a great holiday, Labor Day. And November is going to be right around the corner, and November is National Family Caregiving Month. And that's a time where we pause and we salute those family caregivers that are making the ultimate sacrifice for their loved ones. In November, we'll be talking a lot about that. But here today, we're going to talk about something that is near and dear to a lot of older adults' heart, and they really think about this often, and I'm not so sure they really understand the challenges that come along with when this occurs. So I'm sorry to be so short in terms of describing what it is, but I'm going to get right to it. September 22nd is the first day of autumn. And it's the first day of fall. And what we do is we celebrate this month. It's National Fall Prevention Month. And I thought it would be very appropriate to bring some extraordinary guests to talk about this. And the first one is a repeat performer, if you would. Deena Goldstein. She is with Measurability's Home Safety. And the type of her business is Fall Prevention Home Safety Specialist. And really, I'd like to say, Deena, you're on the prevention side and helping people prevent from having those falls. And every one of our older adults is really this close, and my fingers are about an inch apart from having that happen to them. And when they do have a fall, bad things happen. And we'll talk a little bit about that. So welcome to the show, Deena.
Thanks. Good to be back.
It's good to have you back. And then also just to the left of her is Yolanda Alemany.
Yes.
Alemany. And she's with Scottsdale Medical Equipment and Supplies. They own a retail medical equipment and supply store that's located on the northwest corner of Loop 101 and Shea Boulevard. And if you guys know where the PGA store is, that's where Yolanda's store is. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me, Bob.
It's good to have you. And, I want to talk about fall prevention because, the statistics are daunting. And, I just know that typically, and Deena, I know you have a lot of stats here with you. I know that if an 80-plus-year-old person falls, the statistics that have been shared with me is they have a 50% chance of mortality.
Right. There's a very high morbidity rate for elderly when they fall. Right now, the statistics are continuing to change, but over 700,000 people per year are hospitalized for fall injury, mostly for head trauma and hip fracture. And a lot of times, once they're treated and seen, they're either sent home or sent to step-down rehab. And a lot of times they either don't return home with independence or they do return home and they're receiving in-home care or what have you, but they're not coming home at the same level of independence that they started out at.
And that's challenging. I mean, it's amazing how easy it is to prevent those falls. And, Deena, I'd love for you to just walk us through, if you would, how we can prevent those, because Measurabilities has been doing this for some time, and your partner in crime is your husband, Sandy.
Correct.
And he is a physical therapist. And,
right.
and we have often used you guys, and we've asked for your assistance in the sense that we want to make sure the home modifications are right, but we certainly, not only making sure the home modifications are right, but Sandy, being a physical therapist, can examine that individual that's in that home and making sure that their gait is proper and making sure the risk is minimized.
Right. So it's really important to have a clinical approach to fall prevention. And actually, there's not a lot of that going on. What you typically see is somebody that's either got some kind of a physical injury or they've been in the hospital for a diagnosis. When they're released to home, there tends to be a gap between the time that they're released and when they get home. And there's typically not modifications in place to ensure that they're safe. Usually they're in a weakened state. They might have a lower extremity weakness, whatever their diagnosis causes them to be. So what we do is a lot of times Sandy will actually go to the rehab facility, meet with the caregiver, the family member, the patient, discharge planners, whoever the medical team is, assess the patient there, and then immediately following we'll go to the home and address the concerns there as they relate to their diagnosis. And then we go ahead and put the modifications in place. So when I say it's clinically guided, whether they're home or not home, that might mean them walking through the environment, assessing their gait, like you mentioned, having them navigate through their ADLs. Let's say they're going in to take a shower, what that looks like, where they're looking to grasp and there's nothing in place to keep them from falling. Things like that. Measuring, because if somebody needed something like a safety grab bar and you go to Home Depot and you get a handyman, they might not know that Mrs. Smith has a shoulder injury, and reaching too high repetitively is going to cause an additional problem. So there's clinical attention to everything that we do, whether it's ramps, whether it's we do just anything for the home. So
you talk about the bathroom, soap and water.
Yeah.
Is a recipe for disaster.
Holiday on ice.
Holiday on ice.
Not
exactly.
a pretty term, but that's what we call it. It's actually the number one place for falls in the home, and it's treacherous. You've got the shower. You've got outside the shower, the tub in front of the sink, which nobody thinks about, but they're washing their hands, turn around to dry their hands off, and water drips.
Right.
And another important factor is coefficient of friction, which in layperson's term means a floor that's not slippery. And so we provide a non-slip surface treatment that is not visible, and the only way that you would notice you had it is if the floor was wet. You would have increased traction, and you weren't doing Holiday on Ice. So that's a plus, and it keeps you from
talk
falling.
to me a little bit about that non-slip friction that you do. You put it's on the floor, right?
Right.
I mean,
So-
tell us how you do that.
So it's kind of like a perm bob, but, I don't like to use that example for, male listeners. But basically what we do is it etches the tile or whatever the floor surface is at a molecular level and etches it, so it raises a level of friction, and then we neutralize it. And the only time you notice it is when the floor is wet. You have increased traction. And there's actually
is it a spray, or are you baking it on?
No. It's literally there's no cure time. It's a solution that we put on. It's completely safe, and it's within minutes. Yeah, I have it in my own bathroom. It's great.
It makes so much sense.
Yeah,
and taking a fall on that tile.
It's terrible.
It is terrible.
It's terrible. And it's really important. I just want to note that a multifactorial approach to fall prevention, so that's dealing with environmental, vision, hearing, medications, anything to do with lighting, everything in your environment. So that includes your floors, and it's not just a bar or raising the commode or sitting in the shower. There's many facets to fall prevention, and it's having the right equipment in place to do that.
We're going to be coming up on a break, and we're going to hear from Yolanda about the type of equipment that one may need. But I want to just say this, that statistically, and I know you were sharing stats, 20% of the falls result in serious injuries. So I want to make this appeal to our listening audience, because if 20% of the falls, 1 out of 5, are serious injuries, that means the 4 out of the 5 aren't so serious, but there's signs that we need to be looking for as adult children, as neighbors and friends. So we're looking for bumps and bruises. We're looking for those signs that, maybe the gait of somebody, we need to look for those signs to prevent those falls, because oftentimes our older adults aren't going to admit that they're having issues.
Right. It's a sensitive topic. I mean, you have to open up dialogue, ask questions. Simply having a conversation, how was your day? What did you do? A lot of times there's fear involved. So if somebody has fallen once and they're fearful, they're even more guarded, which puts them at even greater risk because, it's like a nervous Nelly. You're looking down, which means you're not looking forward and vice versa. So it's being mindful of what's going on and how they're moving through their environment and their activities.
The other thing, too, and I have found this with our clients, is they'll avoid bathing and showering.
Yes.
So now you have hygiene issues.
Right.
And hygiene issues can lead to infections and other challenges, too. So we need to be able to do that.
Right, absolutely.
So our producer is leading in with a new tune here. Do you know this song? I don't know this one.
Trying to think. This is sounding a little familiar.
Is it sounding a little familiar?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Deena, I think we did this one just for you. So, James, thumbs up, baby.
Thank you. I'm liking that.
You're listening to Health Futures. My name is Bob Roth. I've got Deena Goldstein from Measurabilities, and I've also got Yolanda Alemany. I'll get it right, from Scottsdale Medical Equipment and Supplies. We'll be right back.
So now it's just another lonely day.
Pizza, beer, sports. Boss Pizza Bar is an authentic Chicago-style thin-crust pizza bar. Come to Old Town Scottsdale to get a taste of Chicago. Start with one of their many brews on tap or specialty cocktails. Then it's on to the apps. Italian egg rolls stuffed with sausage, mozzarella, and marinara. Or doubles. Your choice of delicious made-from-scratch meatballs. Now it's time for the pizza. Try one of their signature pies like the Fat Guy. Pepperoni, Italian sausage, chorizo meatballs, mozzarella, and their red sauce, which is amazing. Or the Chicago combo with Italian beef, Italian sausage, and spicy giardiniera relish. You can also create a tasty pie of your own. Check out the Valley's newest and best in the heart of Old Town Scottsdale. 2 bars, a beautiful patio, daily specials, and a great happy hour. Boss Pizza Bar is the pizzeria for you. Visit bosspizzabar.com or stop by and find out for yourself. They're 2 blocks west of Scottsdale Road on 2nd Street in Old Town. Boss Pizza Bar. Da best.
Hey, Money Radio listeners, this is Gary Kalbaum. Make sure you tune in for my show, Investor's Edge, heard daily at 6 p.m. You'll get my take on the markets and the world and what to look out for tomorrow. Investor's Edge is one of Money Radio's longest-running shows, so don't miss it. Listen daily at 6 p.m. on Money Radio 1510 a.m. or 99.3 FM.
Tired of the same old stocks, bonds, and mutual funds? Farmfolio's agriculture investments may be a great way to refresh your portfolio. Agribusiness is one of few asset classes that may offer both long-term stability and sustained aggressive growth. Listen to Farmfolio CEO Dax Cook Wednesday at 4:20 p.m. and learn how Farmfolio's farm shares can give you access to equity in large-scale agricultural projects. Farmfolio this Wednesday at 4:20 p.m. on The Financial Review. Join Daniel Bustamante, co-founder of Landshark Analytics and LongShortRadio.com, and learn to trade from the pros. Tuesday, 4:30 p.m. on The Financial Review.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress HomeCare Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. You're listening to Health Futures. I'm your host, Bob Roth, and if you're just tuning in, we're on segment number 2, and we're coming at you live from the Scottsdale Auto Park. It is September 2nd, just before Labor Day weekend, and I'm pleased to have in the studio Deena Goldstein, and she's with Measurabilities Home Safety, and I will say this right. I got Yolanda Alemany from Scottsdale Medical Equipment and Supplies. We're talking about fall prevention, and quite frankly, fall prevention is something that coincides with this month of September. You know, September being, I think it's September 22nd, it's the first day of autumn. And, as I shared with our listening audience on the last segment, 20% of the falls are where broken bones and head injuries and stuff happen. And, I've got 2 people here today in the studio that really help to prevent it. And, Deena, you were telling me a little bit about your company in terms of, what you do in terms of assessing someone's home, making sure it's safe. Mm-hmm. And Yolanda has this great equipment company that has the supplies to be able to keep someone safe. So, Yolanda, tell us a little bit about what you guys do at Scottsdale Medical Equipment and Supplies and some of the things that you have in your arsenal to keep people from falling.
Well, we are a retail store right on the northwest corner of the Loop 101 and Shea. And we have a little bit of everything in our store. And one of the great things is we have everything assembled and ready to go. I mean, that's how I like to shop, grab and go shopping. So you come in there, you say, my parents might be getting out of the hospital from rehab from a fall. We want to get a shower chair for in the shower stall. What do you have? And so I could show them the selection. They can sit in it and see if it's easy for them to get up and down out of it. Do they want a back? Do they not want a back? So we just try to help them get the best equipment that'll keep them safe at home, so they're not returning back to the hospital. Which is something that I think people sometimes they'll be very cost conscious on. But I kind of feel that it's a lot cheaper to buy a shower chair and pay a little money for that, pay a little extra, than going back to the hospital.
You think?
Yeah. But, so it's, and I think for some people too, maybe it's a little bit of pride that they feel, oh, well, I don't want to have to sit down and take a shower, or I don't want to have to use something to help me get on and off the toilet. But, as you age, things happen and you need equipment to help you. And if it can keep you mobile, if it can keep you moving and keep you safe, I mean, you're ahead of the game, I always say, than a lot of other people that aren't in that position that they can't do that anymore.
And, you brought up a great point, because shower chairs is something that will ensure safety, prevents falls. And, we care for a lot of older adults, and, sometimes they just can't be up on their feet so long. And as we were sharing in the last segment, soap and water is a recipe for disaster. So, you have shower chairs that have backs, don't have backs. You have extra wide ones, narrow ones. You probably have at least 100 SKUs. We have
a lot of a different variety and stuff with raised arms. And, I just had a woman come in who ended up, finally, she was saying, okay, giving in to having a shower chair, because when she was going into the shower, she had very long, beautiful hair. But she was trying to shower and wash her hair as she held on to a grab bar and just has one arm trying to do that as her husband is standing in the bathroom making sure she doesn't fall. And really, at the end of the day, if you really want to get your hair clean, you got to use two hands. But safety-wise, I mean, here you have shampoo going and everything, and that is just a recipe to fall right in the shower. And she was super excited, and then she decided, hey, let me get a handheld shower head to go with this. It'll make it even easier for me to help care for myself. Because a lot of times, getting equipment still lets you be independent in the sense you still can care for yourself without having someone else do it for you. Which I think is a really big issue and concern for a lot of people as they're getting older. They don't want someone to help them. I don't want someone to bathe me. I don't want someone to help me go to the bathroom. But if you can have equipment that helps you do it so that you don't have to ask for it, it really makes it a lot easier and helps keep their dignity as well.
I love the visualization because it really helps me and helps our listening audience, because so many people, they don't want to give up that independence and they don't want to ask for help. But you just gave a simple solution for this woman to be able to do her hair. I mean, it's how do you shampoo your hair with one hand? I mean, even me, who I don't have a lot of it, I need two hands.
Yeah, and
I can't hold on a grab bar and do it at the same time.
Yeah, and it was such a concern for her. I mean, for her, that just made her feel good to be able to care for herself. Like, I want to wash my own hair. I don't want my husband trying to do it. I don't want him in the bathroom with me.
I get it. I get it. I totally get it. And, the challenges that you're dealing with are the same challenges we deal with as it relates to just engaging home care. People have lived out their lives and, they have they have loved their freedom and their independence, and asking for help is something they're not accustomed to doing. And they want that independence, and they want to, sometimes they can be stubborn, and they want to stick to that independence and not ask for help. And I think one of the messages I want to appeal to our listening audience is that it is okay to ask for help. And for those of you that are listening in and you see a loved one, whether it be a parent, aunt, uncle, grandparent, neighbor, friend, that you think needs maybe some additional help, we have solutions. I mean, we're in the older adult market, and this market is moving at a very rapid rate. I want to give you guys a statistic that I bet you guys weren't aware of. You ready for this? This will blow you away. I mean, seriously. 2/3 of the people who have ever lived past the age of 65 in the entire history of the world are alive today.
Wow.
Get your arms around that. I mean, seriously, I mean, we are moving at a rapid rate of aging adults out there. And one of the things that happens as we get older is we become challenged physically, and falls end up being a part of that. And I'm going to tell you guys, a couple of years ago, I took a fall in the garage. And, I mean, I went down hard and went down fast. And, I mean, it's easier when you're younger. You're very resilient and you can bounce back. But for our older adults, it's not so easy.
And what's interesting to note is, I'm on the Leadership Council, the Arizona Fall Prevention Coalition, and we do a lot of different educational events and things like that, and we're all about finding ways to prevent falls. Falls are not an inevitability of getting older. They can be prevented. A lot of times you'll hear people say, oh, she's 80, she's going to fall. Well, you don't have to fall when you're 80. You don't have to fall when you're 70. It does happen. It's a pretty common occurrence, but it can be prevented. And prevention is the intervention. And instead of putting out fires,
prevention is the intervention.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, as I look at you, Yolanda, you are the owner of a medical supply and equipment company, and I go back to what I was saying before about the independence. I mean, so many of our older adults don't want to be viewed as being old, so they don't want to use a walker. Or they don't want to use a cane or any type of assistive device, but they need to.
But you know what the great thing, because they say, well, I don't want anything silver because people will notice it then. They make such great products now that look great. I just started carrying a new walker. It's made of carbon fiber. It's what you make race cars out of. It's only 12 pounds, leather seat, leather back, these great wheels. I mean, you don't see anything out there like that. And someone walking with that, I've had a couple people in the store that have tried out, and they're like, this is great. This is not an old person's walker.
Right, it's
so
light.
There's so many different items out there, and you could really make it your own when you get it. To me, I always go back to, maybe you need some assistance now, but if it keeps you moving, if you can keep doing things, it just prevents other ailments coming towards you.
And unfortunately, we are in a society where vanity is so upfront and a priority for people. And guess what? You can still have vanity and have a great device like that.
You can bedazzle.
We're up against a break right now. You're listening to Health Futures. It's halftime. We'll be right back.
As we reach the bottom of the hour, we pause for a look at the world's news. Then we're back with Money Talk. We're Money Radio 1510 and 99.3 FM.
After making landfall in Florida early today, where it claimed one life, Tropical Storm Hermine continues to work its way northeast. Correspondent Brian Todd's in Charleston, South Carolina.
This is a city of high bridges. As the wind kicks up now around the Charleston area, officials are worried that some motorists will go up on those high bridges, still try to drive around where it may not be safe.
Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe has declared a state of emergency in his state.
We're looking potentially at up to 10 inches of rain. This could be over a couple-day period. That is the model that we are now assuming is going to happen.
He says the storm could bring what he termed life-threatening storm surges along Virginia's coast. To the south, Georgia's top emergency response official says the storm has had less of an impact on the state than he'd expected. No major structural damage. And the FBI today made public scores of pages about its agents' confidential interviews with Hillary Clinton and others as they investigated her use of private email servers when she was Secretary of State. The Dow right now up 67. I'm Chaz Henry.
Ace is a place with the helpful hardware, folks.
We finally agreed on a paint color, so I know what I'm doing this weekend.
Ace is a place when you're the labor on Labor Day.
Don't miss Ace's big Labor Day weekend paint sale. Now through Monday, buy a gallon of our best Valspar Optimus, get one 50% off. Buy our best value, Clark & Kensington, get one 50% off. Only at Ace. Offer valid at participating stores on Valspar Optimus and Aspire, Clark & Kensington, and Royal Brand Paint. Sale gallons must be of equal or lesser value. Limit 2 per household while supplies last. See store for details.
At Walgreens, getting diabetes testing supplies with Medicare Part B is a walk in the park. Really, because getting what you need is quick and easy, giving you more time for other things. There's $0 out of pocket on all major brands like Contour Next and Walgreens True Metrics, and no extra paperwork. So managing diabetes becomes a stroll down Easy Street, or a trip to the movies, or even a day at the beach. Talk to your pharmacist today. Walgreens, at the corner of happy and healthy.
Zero out-of-pocket costs when billed to Medicare and full coverage supplemental insurance.
Money Radio is valley-wide on the radio and beyond, so listen often and listen everywhere. 1510 on AM, 99.3 on FM, and streaming live with our app at moneyradio.com.
What if I told you there's a firm that will create a customized portfolio and financial plan for you and offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee? Think it doesn't exist? Think again.
Hi, I'm Mo Ansari, president of Compact Asset Management. When you start a new relationship with Compact, we'll create your customized investment portfolio and financial plan dedicated to help you reach your goals. Try us out for a year. If you're not happy for any reason, you'll get all of the management and maintenance fee that you paid refunded. This is our 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Call Compact Asset Management at 800-388-9700 to find out more. That's 800-388-9700. Satisfaction guarantee doesn't apply to fees and commissions charged by third parties for such things as insurance products or mutual fund redemptions. It also doesn't apply to any market losses which might occur in an account. For additional information regarding this guarantee, please see the disclosure brochure available at the time you enroll or upon request.
Compact Asset Management is a registered investment advisor. Funds custodian, Fidelity Institutional Wealth Services, member FINRA SIPC.
Hey, Money Radio listeners, Corey Scheidler here from Core Fitness AZ. We're on the last leg of summer, and if you're one of those people that enjoy the summer to the fullest, you might be starting to wonder, where did my pre-summer body go? I call this phenomenon the school's out effect. It starts with barbecues, then late nights with good friends around the fire, and of course, increase of high-sugar beverages. Unfortunately, all of the above isn't very nice to our waistlines. I'll be celebrating my 19th year as a personal trainer, and because this job has given me so much, I wanted to give back to you and give you the chance to get in the best shape of your life. This offer is for the people that want it the most. You see, I've been authorized to make 5 spots available for boot camp and just 5 more for personal training. I know there are a lot of people in the same boat as yourself and want to get in the best shape of your life. For the next 3 weeks, I'm offering 50% off to all the Money Radio listeners out there. So just give me a call at 480-620-3000 and let me know that you heard me on Money Radio and you want to get started. That's 480-620-3000. I look forward to getting your pre-summer body back.
Your one blood donation can help save the lives of up to 3 people. Give blood through the American Red Cross to help hospital patients. Call 1-800-RED-CROSS or visit redcrossblood.org today.
I'm Bruce Vail with Your Money Now. The Labor Department said just 151,000 non-farm jobs were added to the labor market in August. That was well below the consensus estimate for a gain of 180,000. The August gain was a slowdown from the more than 270,000 jobs added in both June and July. Employers did add enough jobs to absorb most new entrants into the labor market, and that kept the unemployment rate at 4.9%. The soft report now has investors thinking the Federal Reserve won't make a move to raise interest rates this month, and stocks are higher today with the Dow Jones Industrial Average up 69 points. The Nasdaq Composite is ahead 20. The S&P 500 is up 9 points. Oil prices rose for the first time this week. Crude futures gained $1.13, settling at $44.29 a barrel, but oil was down more than 6.5% for the full week. That's Your Money Now.
It started at bunko night. A little tickle in my throat, says Sandra. Then comes Colin barking like a seal. That cough, that's the flu. And then it spreads to Edna, to Wiley, to Marjorie. But when it comes to your door, you won't be answering because you got your flu shot at Rite Aid, where they care about you and your health. So while they're seeing doctors and sweating through fevers, you'll be teaching your granddaughter the 2-deck shuffle. Shield yourself at Rite Aid before it's too late. If you're over 65, the CDC recommends flu and pneumonia shots. No appointments necessary, and they're free with Medicare Part B. Rite Aid. With us, it's personal. Flu vaccines available while supplies last. Age restrictions apply in some states. See pharmacy for details.
This is an alert. If your business or church is building this year, you're about to pay more than you should. This could mean thousands of dollars more for your office, retail space, church, or warehouse. A General Steel building can save you as much as half the cost and time of similar conventional construction. And we're offering rebates of up to $20,000 to help you build today. Call General Steel for free information that could save you thousands. Call 866-95-STEEL. 866-95-STEEL. That's 866-95-STEEL.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress HomeCare Solutions, Bob Roth.
Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination.
Thank you, James. That was a tribute to Gene Wilder. A lot of people don't know this. His real name is Jerome Silberman, and he passed away this week. And we want to pay a tribute to him because he was a brilliant actor and a great comedian. And all of us have very fond memories of him. And I'm wearing purple today in tribute to... And so are you, Deena?
Yes.
And you know what, Yolanda? You didn't get the memo, but that's okay.
But blue is in purple.
Blue is in purple. So if you're just tuning in, you're not listening to Gene Wilder. You're listening to Health Futures. And I'm your host, Bob Roth. And I've got in the studio with me, I've got Yolanda Alemany. And I've also got Deena Goldstein, and we're talking about fall prevention. And, you know, prevention is the cure to so much. And if we can just be proactive and assist our older adults, because we know they're aging at a screaming rate, that I shared that 2/3 of the people that have ever lived to 65 or older are actually living today on our planet. We are going to save a lot of lives. And I think both of you guys have the recipes, if you would, for that success to happen. You know, I want to ask you, Yolanda, how do we pay for some of this equipment? Because I know Medicare sometimes pays for it. What's that process that you go through?
Well, Medicare actually does not pay for anything in the bathroom.
Nothing in the bathroom?
Nothing in the bathroom.
And that's the greatest hazard. Go figure.
I always say it's really keeping the hospitals and doctors in business.
Do they pay for commodes that sit
No.
next to the... They don't even pay for the commodes?
No.
Wow.
That's a bathroom.
It used to, by the way. I was in the medical equipment.
They do not do that anymore. And in fact, so Medicare is, for people who don't know, is now a competitive bid process. Companies have to bid to be able to bill for Medicare for durable medical equipment.
Wow.
The new July 1st just started a new competitive bid year, and no one in Scottsdale or the Phoenix area won a bid. So the 3 companies that I know of are all in the East Valley. And bids that they won would be a walker, 2 or 4 wheel, wheelchair, hospital bed, maybe a lift chair. And on a lift chair, they only pay for the motor. The rest is considered furniture, and you have to pay the out-of-pocket for that. So
it didn't used to be that way.
No.
By the way. You used to get these great elaborate lift chairs from Pride or wherever,
yes.
and you could you could write that whole thing off.
Not anymore. Not anymore. And really, also, a lot of companies aren't even putting in for bid. You actually have to pay to bid. And a lot of companies aren't even accepting the bids if they do win them from Medicare because the reimbursement is so low. You know, to pay a biller, to pay your employees, to have the stock, it's really not worth it anymore.
Right.
So my business is all private pay. I take every major credit card. Cash is always great. But a lot of the items, it's very competitively priced. I do not match internet pricing. You know, I'm a brick and mortar store, which are totally different costs. I'm paying sales tax to the city and to the state. I'm employing local people.
And you're paying a lot for rent.
Yes.
Because you're right here in Scottsdale.
Yeah, but I'm also providing a great service for people. You know, I'm providing, you have questions, you need something adjusted, I'm there for you. I'm more than happy if I don't have it to help you look for it. There are many times that I have people call that I've referred over to Measurabilities to say, this is what you need. I can't provide it. Let me give you to a company that can. And I'm more than happy to do that because, you know, you kind of, when you're in this business, you really have to be in it because you want to help people, not just because of the bottom line. And if I really want to make sure that I have a customer that's happy and safe in their home, if it's something that I can't do, why not give them to someone else who can? I had a lovely gentleman who had a stroke who came in one day with his caregiver, and his goal was to be independent in the bathroom. He was pretty embarrassed. He had a young caregiver. He goes, I don't want her helping me to go to the bathroom. And we
can appreciate that.
Absolutely. And I gave him Deena's number, and Sandy came out and helped them, and it was so wonderful to see him. He'd come in every couple months as he was getting stronger, and he'd say, hey, in therapy now I'm using a Hemi walker, do you have those? Yes. He'd buy that for me. Hey, now we're using a quad cane, do you have that? Yes. And he would tell me about, oh my gosh, my bathroom, I can go in there by myself and take care of myself. I don't have to ask someone to come and help me. And he was so motivated, though, too. I mean, he was someone who, he really took to whatever the PT was telling him to do. He was doing those extra exercises at home, and he was just so motivated. And I think when you see people like that, it makes you feel so great that you can just be a part of their recovery.
Right.
He's made a tremendous recovery. I was just telling Yolanda during the break that he sent us a picture, and he was standing on a beach. All he had was a cane. We went in and thankfully, Yolanda and I work together very closely, and we work with this gentleman, and Sandy went in and clinically replicated the bathroom, so he wanted it just like it was in therapy, so he could continue to make strides, which he did, and we work with him on his transferring sit to stand. Sandy worked with him on that. And this is just a great success story because it does take community, like Yolanda was saying. Everybody needs to be involved in patient care. You really, truly need to care about the patient's well-being, and that takes everybody in the community to do it. It takes a village.
It takes a village. And to that point, I want to go back and talk about your operation, Scottsdale Medical Equipment, right?
And supplies.
And supplies. I want to talk about Scottsdale Medical Equipment and Supplies is because, you know what differentiates you from everyone else is, first of all, I'm sitting here talking to the owner-operator. Mm-hmm. I'm talking to Deena Goldstein, who's the owner-operator of Measurabilities. You're talking, and I'm hosting Bob Roth. I'm one of the owners and operators of Cypress HomeCare Solutions. It takes a village, but it also takes service. And, I think we live in an era that service has kind of been lost. And yeah, you can call Amazon, you can use Amazon Prime, but the thing that you get when you contact Scottsdale Medical Equipment and Supplies, or you contact Measurabilities or Cypress, you're going to get a live person, somebody that cares, somebody's going to follow up, somebody's going to deliver, and somebody that you can trust. And trust is so important today. And to your point about a village, I mean, we're all looking for solutions. And we're all looking for solutions to help somebody. And one of the things that's great about Cypress and your two companies is you know what you can do and you know what you can't do. But we also know that we have clients or prospective clients that need help. And for us that may be getting those phone calls, and I get a lot of them because I host the show, is to be able to direct them to people that can help and solve their issue or challenge that they're having. And, one of the things we do at Cypress, and we're very proud about, is that we do these initial assessments for free. So we'll go out, we'll examine the home, we'll examine the client's needs, and if it's inside our scope, we'll engage. If it's outside our scope, then we will make recommendations on what they should do. And I know both of you guys do the same.
I think it's important that, a customer or someone can come in and look at stuff and discuss it with someone, and I'm not necessarily there to say, yeah, buy this, or let me sell you this. I hate going into a store where they're always trying to upsell you. And I feel, I have a mom that's 83 years old. I have a mother-in-law that's in her late 70s. I don't want my parents to be treated like that. I want to know that when they go into a store, into a place like this, that if they need something, they're able to get it. That, and if I'm referring them out to someone, that's the same place that I would refer for my mom. So I want to be a place where people can trust coming in here. And they might walk out empty-handed, and that's okay.
It's compassion. It's compassion for your client and your patient, and you have to have that.
And the other thing is that the patient or customer, they have to have the right attitude. And you know what? The client that you just described is a perfect example. I mean, he's sending you photos from the beach. He had the right attitude.
He was so driven. I mean, it's just what a success story.
And so much of it is that. You're listening to Health Futures. We're up against a break. I've got Deena Goldstein in the studio, and I got Yolanda Alemany in the studio. We'll be right back.
High returns on your investments? Who wouldn't want that? This is Sinclair No, with a strategy that could increase your overall return on your investment portfolio. It's called Decadian. The Decadian investment methodology encompasses a 10-year goal for financial freedom, plus something that's really missing today, straight talk, so you know you have a financial advisor you can trust. Great investment recommendations that far exceed what your institutional markets offer. All this wrapped with performance guarantees. Only those who know what they can do will guarantee what they can do. Decadian. Decadian.com. Decadian. That's Decadian.com. Call 844-332-2342. 844-332-2342. Here for you when you need it most. Decadian.
We live in a complicated world, but the one thing that shouldn't be complicated is your precious metals portfolio. This is Nick Grovich, owner of American Federal Rare Coin and Bullion. For over 33 years, American Federal has specialized in helping clients not only purchase coins, but liquidate their coin portfolios. Many people have enjoyed collecting for years, yet their heirs show no interest. Others have bought coins as an investment, but they have limited knowledge of the market, and the value of their coins is not appreciated with the rising price of metals. Whether you own a one-of-a-kind collection or simply own common silver dollars, American Federal can pay you top dollar with no hassle. We won't pressure you into trading for other coins, and we're happy to cash you out or pay you in gold, silver, or platinum. You get the same price for your coins either way. Uncomplicate your coin portfolio. Call American Federal at 480-553-5282. That's 480-553-5282 or online at AmericanFederal.com.
Help a foster child start the school year right. Through Sunday, bring your gift of school supplies to a participating Mattress Firm store or donate online at mattressfirmfosterkids.org.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress HomeCare Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. You're listening to Health Futures. I'm your host, Bob Roth, and I've got in the studio, I got Yolanda Alemany. She's from Scottsdale Medical Equipment Supplies, and I've got Deena Goldstein from Measurabilities Home Safety. And if you missed the first three segments, they were awesome, and you can catch them right up on our website at cypresshomecare.com, and you catch about 130 others that we've been bringing to you from the Money Radio Studios right here in Scottsdale. So we are getting ready to final segment, close it up. But, one of the things that we talked about in between the third and the fourth segment, we talked about the new normal. Deena, I want you to talk a little bit about the new normal, because I think a lot of people are fearful and they're really scared about what the future does bring. And I gave some crazy statistic about 2/3 of the people that have ever lived to 65 years old are living on the planet today.
Right. I mean, the population is aging. The population is living longer. And so you have to accommodate that. Somebody once told me that, in being a parent, that every phase of your child's life is different. And just when you get to know that phase, it's going to change. So you have to change. Life is not static. It's a dynamic process, and you have to change and move along with it. And that means changing and reassessing every leg of that journey. And so as you begin to age, it's looking at what that new normal is, as you reference. And the new normal might be, I want to be independent. I want to go to the card game. I want to go out to the mall, or whatever you like to do.
Card game. You mean the Cardinals game or playing cards game?
Yeah,
It
that's
could be
what
both.
I meant. Yeah, the Cardinals game, yeah. Playing cards at the game, right. So it's knowing that what you need, what is it that I need to do in order to be safe doing that? Because I want to continue to have quality of life, and that just means making some changes. They are not a death sentence, and they are certainly not a lack of independence or being vibrant. It's actually, I find it a sign of strength to say, hey, you know what? I really don't want to trip. I'm going to use a cane.
Well, it's also embracing your age.
Right.
I mean, I think too many people, and I see this, and it's easy for the three of us to say it, but I see too many people longing for their youth and not embracing the fact that they're 60, 70, or 80 years old.
Right.
And not everybody gets to that. I mean, it's a privilege to be 80 years old, and just know that you're here, and you need to embrace it, but you have to remember that you're 80 and you're not 20, and you, getting up out of the chair and hustling to go to the bathroom, you got to take it a little easier.
Right.
A
And,
little slower.
little things like, getting out of bed, making sure if you're a person that keeps slippers or flip-flops by the bed, you want to move them aside, because guess what? If it's not well lit, it's a trip hazard. Those are little lifestyle modifications that you can make to your environment that, don't require doing anything other than moving your shoes.
I think you're saying 80. I've just had two men come into the store this week that were 90s, in their 90s. And you would never think that they were in their 90s. And they're taking care of their younger wives. And their big thing was, you know what? I want to still go out. I want us to still, go to the Desert Botanical Gardens, go to the mall. And I need some equipment that I can get in and out of the car. Because not only do we have to really worry about the person who's aging, it's their caregivers that we have to worry about and their physical health, because you sometimes get these wheelchairs that are 40, 50 pounds, and you've got to take that in and out of the car. You have to worry about that caregiver's back, because if they're not healthy, how can they take care of someone else?
Exactly. And, there's so many assistive devices, and they're continuing to be developed. And I've talked about it here on the show, and we have a big mixer coming up next week for Aging 2.0, and I really, really believe that innovations is really a key component to successful aging. We're doing so much as it relates to breakthroughs in medicine and pharmacology to be able to help people live older, but we also need innovations and some of the things that you've talked about, whether it be a walker that's made of graphite that weighs, 1/10 of what it normally weighs.
Right.
There are all these assistive devices out there. And, I want to just, please, if I can give our listening audience, if you're interested in medical equipment and supplies, I want you to be able to know how to get a hold of Yolanda. You can call her at 596-3896. She's located at the Loop 101 in Shea. The name of her company is Scottsdale Medical Equipment and Supplies. Reach out to her. Go and visit her in the store. And if you don't see Yolanda, you want to see Brianna.
Yep, it's a family business. That's our goddaughter and my husband's cousin. We are all affected by this, and we're all interested in helping other people. So it really truly is a family business.
I love it. And the other family business is Measurabilities, Home Safety. And you can reach Deena at 480-214-9725. Ask for Deena. But her other half, truly not her better half, because you're the better half, but Sandy
Thank you. I'll write the check.
Sandy is amazing. He's a physical therapist, and you really want somebody to assess your home for safety purposes. Sandy's your guy. You mentioned earlier, prevention is intervention, and these two ladies right here have companies to be able to do that prevention, to get that intervention. Just saying, the status quo is okay, that's not acceptable. It can't be acceptable, because each day, each week, each month is going to give you some new twists and turns and challenges.
Yeah, I mean, turning a blind eye doesn't really, it's kind of ignoring the cavity that you have. Just because you're not paying attention to it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So if you cannot wait till there's a crisis, you've got many people that will help you get to the point to get the interventions, whether it's HomeCare. You can go into Yolanda's store. She will talk to you, walk you through, let you try things. We can come in and therapeutically and clinically guide you to being safe in your home, and you can continue living successfully, aging in place.
I mentioned both of you guys are locally owned, locally operated, as well as Cypress is. There's a lot to be said for locally owned and locally operated. I mean, we keep it all right here in the community, into our economy. We're not talking about big boxes. We're not talking about franchisors that are taking big monies outside of our state. We are the solutions. We are that community. We are that village. Just because the new normal is facing you, it's okay. I mean, we have to embrace that new normal. And we do have solutions there to help you and assist you embracing those new normals.
Well, I like what Yolanda said. Like she was saying, I wouldn't treat anybody the way I would treat. How did you say that?
Well, because I'm
not doing it justice.
No, you're not.
People
Thank you.
The way
Thank you very
that
much.
I would want my mother or mother-in-law to be treated.
Yes,
or my
you
parents
said that
to
well.
be
That's
treated.
what I was trying to say.
Because, so many times, and that's actually how we started our store, was we were searching for some equipment for my mother-in-law, and we couldn't find it. We ended up at a store that we had the worst customer service, and it just made everyone feel so bad. And, you're already not feeling great when you have to get more equipment to help you. And to have someone treat you not that great, it just compounds everything.
It does.
You really just want to, it's the golden rule. Treat others as you would want to be treated.
No doubt. We're just wrapping up. We got about 30 seconds. Any final thoughts you want to leave our listening audience, Deena or Yolanda?
I just want to say, you know what? You love your family, and the people that we deal with in the community, we treat like family. Let's show some TLC and help people prevent falls. It is so preventable, and there's so many resources available to do that.
I definitely agree with Deena, and go out, and we're here to help people. We're not here to gouge people or anything like that. We want people to be able to live, a great life.
You've been listening to Health Futures. I'm your host, Bob Roth. Yolanda, Deena, thank you so much. Make it a great day. Have a great weekend. We'll hear from you next week.
There's no place like home. You've been listening to Bob Roth's Health Futures. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call Cypress HomeCare Solutions at 602-264-8009. That's 602-264-8009. Or visit CypressHomeCare.com. Be sure to join Health Futures with Bob Roth every Friday at noon, right here on Money Radio 1510 and 99.3 FM.
Join certified financial planner Nancy Fleming this and every Wednesday afternoon as she joins me for Financial Review. Nancy and I discuss an array of topics from Social Security, taxes, to what types of obstacles you can and will face in retirement. So join Nancy every Wednesday afternoon at 4:35 for the Financial Review. Want more, Nancy? Be sure to tune in every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for My Smart Retirement, right here on Money Radio.
Money Radio 1510
And 99.3 FM.
Is KFNN Mesa Phoenix and K257 CD Phoenix. If you're ever not near your radio, just grab your smartphone and tap the Money Radio app. It's free from Google Play and the Apple App Store. markets. We're just about to wrap up the trading week. We find the Dow is up 73 points right now. S&P 500 up 9, and the NASDAQ is up 23 points.
When people want to talk about money, this is the place they come to. And there's more on the way after this break for the latest news. And we begin